There are certain rights written in the Constitution, like the right to keep and bear arms, but there is one that, although it's not technically written, is referred to and debated to this day, and that is the separation of church and state. In the Constitution, it states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, which means that there can be no law that affects religious practices or keep people from practicing their religion of choice. This is called the Free Exercise Clause, and this has been the basis of religious freedom since the birth of the United States. Today we will go in depth on how this simple statement has given Americans the right to practice what religion they choose, and how it's been their responsibility to uphold that right. Evolution being taught in public schools was not a problem for early Americans since Darwin's theory wasn't even published until 1859. Even then, people still mainly believed in the Bible's version of creationism. One of the first times that this came up and one of the most known is the Scopes trial. The State of Tennessee versus John Thomas Scopes trial, or commonly called the Scopes trial or the Monkey trial, was a Supreme Court case that involved John Scopes, where he was being tried for violating the Butler Act, which was a law in Tennessee which prevented teachers from teaching evolution and had them teach creationism instead. Scopes knew that this was a violation of his rights under the Constitution, so he incriminated himself. He felt a sense of responsibility to expose when his rights were being violated. He was found guilty, but only fined $100, and even though he lost, the publicity that the case got fueled the future arguments for teaching evolution in the United States. The prevention of Scopes being able to teach evolution is a prime example of his rights being infringed upon. The Butler Act is a blatant law not following the line in the Constitution that prevents the creation of laws that prohibit religious freedom. Scopes saw this and made it public. He found it a responsibility for him to expose an indecency to Americans. It wasn't until 1968 at the Epperson versus Arkansas trial where they determined some of the laws to the Butler Law were unconstitutional and violating the rights of citizens. This trial made it possible for schools to teach evolution without it being illegal. Although back in the 1970s, schools still didn't want to teach evolution, and laws were being enacted to ban the teaching of evolution. After they ruled that not teaching evolution was unconstitutional, public school systems started implementing intelligent design into their schools, which is a modified version of creationism and is considered a pseudoscience. This form of creationism states that certain features of the universe and of living things are best explained by an intelligent cause, which means that humans and animals were built by some sort of higher intelligence, although not saying what could have created it. Intelligent design was put into school systems after the case of Edward versus Aguilar decision, which was another case which made it illegal to teach creationism in public schools, claiming it as unconstitutional. Intelligent design was the response to that as a way for them to still teach creationism in public schools. Intelligent design was now the curriculum in many states, using a textbook called Of Pandas and People. This made controversy in the mid-2000s, mainly with the Kitzmiller versus Dover School District case. Parents with kids in the Dover School District argued that the teaching of intelligent design was against the Establishment Clause and violated the First Amendment. The decision was that teaching intelligent design was unconstitutional and could not be taught anymore. This demonstrated how Americans' parents took responsibility for the child's education and saw their rights being infringed upon. Another problem in the United States is that it is still illegal to hold public office in some states if you are atheist. In the North Carolina Constitution, it states that the following persons shall be disqualified from office. First, any person who shall deny the being of Almighty God. This disobeys the whole idea of the separation of church and state, but it is justified since it is illegal to have a test of religion for anybody running office. There is also friction with the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender communities when it comes to legalization of gay marriage. One argument against the right for gay people to get married is that in the Bible it states that you shall not lie with a male as if with a woman. It is abomination, Leviticus 18:22. But this argument is irrelevant due to the Free Exercise Clause. American citizens have had to defend their right for freedom of religion when religion was changing and has done so successfully. The need for religious freedom is as important now as it was when people were escaping from Great Britain just for that reason. The responsibilities of Americans have stayed true throughout history, with them defending their right for the freedom of religion. This right that every American has helped many escape their country, where religion is tyranny.